And good morning, my super friends. Oh, what's this? My voice is croaky right from the start. Okay, hang on. Got to hit mute for a second. Maybe that's better? I don't know. I don't have a radio voice anyway. I acknowledge the traditional owners of this land, the Whadjuk Noongar peoples. I pay my respects to their elders, past and present, and to Aboriginal elders and peoples from other communities who may be taking part in this live stream today. My voice has held up this long. I've made it 20 seconds into the live stream. Johnny says, oh look, a new gold colored, what's that? A gold, I think that's a membership related thing. Okay. So good morning to Stephen. Chip is here, Michael, Dodgy, Tassie is here. And birthday for Dodgy today. Happy birthday, Dodgy. Some call it fun. Delane. Who else? Who else has been speaking up? Sharky says moaning all. Johnny's here. And that ding that you just heard was a message from Aaron about something that we might talk about. But we shall see. We shall see. Good morning, Kim. Did I say Johnny? Russell, David, Imogen, Mitchell. Hey. Michael says my birthday will be on live stream day in 3 weeks. Okay, so you're 3 weeks from today. All right, so Luminator is here. Welcome, Luminator. Now, what are we going to do today? This really is not working very well, this thing. That's what happens when I go so long without talking to anyone. I need to practice talking more. So, there was a... sorry, my brain just skipped a beat again. It skipped a beat. Yes, so there was a message I got from Aaron about adding an entry into the DNS for oxrs.io because of some new developments that are happening with the web UI that Chris Aitken has been working on. Austin, you made it! Awesome. And so he said that this is still a work in progress. It's not ready for consumption yet, but I'm not even sure if Aaron is here on the stream. He's sending me messages sending me messages in Discord. So, what was I going to do? Okay, I need to add a DNS entry for in oxrs.io, which is not exactly an exciting thing to be looking at. Requires viewer broker to have WebSockets and SSL. Requires your broker to have WebSockets and SSL. Okay. Alright, so it looks like there is some stuff that needs to be set up. As Michael says, it's always DNS. Hey, Dentistries! You made it along. Nearly finished my new robot. I'll put a picture in the Discord now. Nice. Okay, so maybe I should bring up Discord and have a look. What am I doing? It's all... okay. Aaron says he's watching now. What a random start. So random. Alright, now where do I have my DNS setup happening? I'm just going to pull this up. I might as well do this, get this sorted out. So let's do some DNS. What am I looking for? I'm looking for that. DNS. Okay, so Aaron, what do I need? I need to add a CNAME record for touch.oxrs.io, and if people play around with this, it may not work yet. This is still a work in progress, but let's do this. Let's add a CNAME for, what am I adding? Touch.oxrs.io, and don't forget the ending dot on the CNAME. Yes, alias to oxrsio.github.io, and what do we set? TTL 10 minutes, 2 minutes. It doesn't have. Let's set it to an hour. That'll do. Hopefully the IP address will be reasonably stable at github.io. You never know, you never know. Okay, so what am I adding? Touch.oxrs.io. In fact, I should just be doing that as touch because it's within this domain, and I've got to include the dot on the end of oxrs.io to GitHub because it is a fully qualified domain name, which means it needs the terminating dot. So, yeah, I think that's it. All right, so CNAME has been added. Aaron, 1 hour is generally accepted TTL these days. Yeah, I wonder what the default is on this domain. What have I got it set for? Where? Is it set within the domain or is it set within... right. I don't know. Anyway, so... Aaron, I hope you don't mind that I'm doing all of this publicly and that I'm not messing things up for you. Is it okay? This is the question for Aaron, who can answer me privately in Discord. Is it okay for me to pull up that URL that you have just mentioned on the stream and we can have a quick look at it? Oh, Jesus, please mute the beep. It is driving me nuts. Yes, I'll just mute my computer. There we go. Now we shouldn't get any beeping. I have no choice now. Okay. Let's do this. oxrs.makerdoc.io. Is that the thing? OXRS touch panel. Okay, so IP address or host name of your broker's WebSocket. Okay, so we can have a broker there, username, password, client ID, topic prefix, and enable SSL. All right. This is the first I'm seeing any of this. I've got no idea what's going on. Yes, but you need to have WebSockets and SSL enabled on your broker or it won't work. Okay, so what it looks like is that this is a hosted version. Aaron, you can correct me if I'm wrong. This is a hosted version of the OXRS Web UI, which you've probably already seen on the stream a few times. In the past, I've been using that as just an index.html file, like a plain HTML file locally opened in a web browser, and then you can point it at IP addresses on your network so that you can then do configuration and things like that. So this is for this is hosted, it's not on my local network, and I can point it at an MQTT broker. So similar sort of concept, except that it's a bit different. Hostable version of the touchscreen UI, I don't think this is newer admin UI. Okay, yep, so this is the touchscreen UI. So this means that you'd be able to put it on, you'd be able to access it from different devices. Yeah, so Aaron said correct. It's a web version of the OXRS Touch firmware created by Chris Aitken. Cool. Okay, so I actually have no idea whether I have SSL enabled or WebSockets enabled on my MQTT broker. Yeah, it's not the admin UI, says Aaron. Yep. Cool, thank you for correcting me on that. Do I have... now, I'm going to... Let's just try this. I'm pulling it out of your view because because I'm going to have to put in username and password here. And I also have to look up what that username and password is. Now I'm just going to come back to this view so that things that I put up on screen you won't be able to see. So I've got to grab a username and a password. I'm just grabbing them from somewhere. And that password. And then once I've entered this, I'm going to bring up my, if it connects, I will bring it back up. Because at the moment the username is disclosed. And what I'm going to be connecting to here is an MQTT broker that I've got running in the US. And it's one that I use for real things. Because the broker that I've got here that I run all the stuff on locally is not accessible externally at all. So what I'm connecting to is a broker that I've got running on a VM at Linode. And I'm just going to hit connect. Failed to construct a WebSocket. All right, enable SSL, connect. Is it going to do anything? This is probably going to fail because I don't have the setup at the other end. No, it's not going to connect. But that can be something for another day. I don't think I'm going to keep messing around with that now on the stream because it would just be, it would just be you watching me messing around with configurations and things in MQTT. All right, just looking at the chat again. Oh, hang on. Sorry, I've just got to silence my phone as well because notifications popped up on that. Okay, got to get rid of all the notifications. All right, so Aaron in the chat is saying it's a web version of the touch firmware, and Austin said this is good for tablet and mobile screens. And desktop, basically any touch screen connect to the web. Yeah, cool. That is cool. So what that would mean is if your MQTT broker that you are running all of your RxRS stuff is accessible externally. So this is making me think about what I should do. Now, you know that I have always had an approach where I don't want anything within my local system to be dependent on an external connection for basic functionality. So this is something I haven't talked about for a while. I've talked about it a lot in the past, but not for a while. So I'm just going to do a very brief recap of my philosophy in terms of connectivity and external systems. The general rule that I follow is no basic functionality within an automation system should rely on an internet connection or external services in order to operate correctly. If something happens like my internet connection goes down, I don't want that to make it impossible for me to turn lights on and off. And I don't want latency and those sorts of things associated with using an external connection. And so I've ranted about that in the past, and people have interpreted that as me saying never use external services or never use any cloud services. And I don't take it to that extreme. I make the distinction between fundamental services that you need to be operating and like value add services or things that are nice, but if they break, it doesn't really matter that much. So in the case of things like controlling lights around your house or heating or whatever, really basic fundamental things that allow you to live your day-to-day life, they should not be reliant on an external internet connection. Like if you get, as you've seen happen on this stream many times, an NBN failure, that should not take out your ability to control your lights. However, there are some things that you can have enhancements, or things like being able to access your home automation system remotely can be useful. You can check in on your house, you can turn things on and off remotely. That can actually be beneficial. And so I'm not saying to be 100% disconnected. What I'm saying is that add-ons like services, I don't know, what sort of a service? Something like if you were pulling information from Bureau of Meteorology for weather predictions to be able to feed that information into an irrigation system or into a system that takes into account whether to open and close your blinds or whatever. You know, those sorts of things. That is what I would consider to be, I don't know, that I was going to use the term value add, but that's not really the right thing. It's an enhancement, I suppose. It's not fundamental functionality. It's an enhancement. And if the enhancement goes away, that's fine. I mean, you lose something, but you can still get into your house because you can still unlock it. You can still turn lights on and off. You can do all of the things that you need to do. So that is where, yeah, so that is the distinction I make. And I've never really formalized it as a distinction. It's more just a concept of fundamental services that run locally, and then external connectivity can be used for enhancements. So the way I think about this is, if we are setting up a system where, like if I use my lab as an example, so where I am right now, I actually have multiple MQTT brokers here on the network, because I have one for my actual live running system, and things like controlling all the lights and things around here are all done through it. And that one has authentication and all of that sort of stuff. And then I have another one which is running, and that one is running it's a Docker image running on my Synology NAS. And I have another broker running on a Raspberry Pi, but that's more like just a throwaway thing for testing. It's unauthenticated. It's because sometimes when you're just playing around, you don't want to have to deal with authentication. And so I use that when I just want to throw data at a broker, and it doesn't matter if something goes wrong, because it's not going to impact the operation of the rest of the building. Doji says core functionality versus add-on functionality. Yes, that's right. So I've sorry for while I was doing that little rant, I was ignoring the the chat. Oh, Aaron points out that Ben has made a super handy Docker image to host this locally. Yeah, awesome. I posted a link to Discord, to some media in Discord. Oh, that's when I click that, it tries to open it. Okay, it's trying to open Discord on the browser. So Johnny, which channel is that in? All right, I'm going to have to authenticate myself. So I've got to open Discord on my phone to scan a QR code to authenticate it on where is it? Scan a code. There we go. To authenticate the browser so that I can see that link that that Johnny just posted. Yes, log me in. Cool. Johnny, where is this link? Okay. Oh, Discord. Stop it. Okay. It was a link into a conversation. Oh, there's the picture of the robot. Okay. Let's there's Josh's robot. Oh, sorry. Okay. So getting back to the local versus remote thing. Michael says cloud versus on-prem equals right tool for the right job. Yeah, so on-prem, that's on-premises, like IT terminology of, do you run services on remote servers in the cloud, or do you run them on premises, on hardware that you have physical control over? And they both approaches have strengths and weaknesses, and they are often one is more appropriate than the other for specific things. But in the case of automation control, my general rule is local as much as possible. Oh, NBN, what are you doing? It says YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. Sucky NBN, it's just making my point for me. Yes. Mitchell said, the perfect one is where the guys IoT up their house and then completely brick their house and cannot even enter because the internet went down. Yeah. Talking about bricking, I bricked my car a few days ago. I'll tell you that story in a second. She said, oh, where's Mitchell? Someone hacks your house and locks you out. Yes. Trying to catch up again. Stephen said, the security flaw where anyone could open the garage door and turn off your alarm via the internet that came out last week. Whoa, I didn't... I didn't hear about that one. So, Stephen, have you got any more references to that? I'm curious to know about that. What was that security flaw in? Like, what sort of system was connected to control the garage door and turn off your alarm? Was it like an automation hub breach or something? Yeah. Nope, we're all getting the circle of death. Oh, damn. Michael says, it's Easter Sunday. All of my additional functionality is reporting segmentation fault, core dumped. Yes. Sion! Happy Easter to you too, Sion. And Moo. I am several lunch times behind. Superhouse Ghost Protocol. I don't know what that means, Michael. So, okay. Bricking my car. On... what day would it have been? Well, the start of this story is a few weeks ago. I had Eastern BM, who are pretty awesome. Aaron, thank you for the screenshots. Yes, I'll bring up those screenshots in a bit. So maybe after this story. So I took my car to Eastern BM a few weeks ago, and just for a regular service, just to get its normal stuff done. And as part of the process, they did something, either a software update or a factory reset or something on the DME, which is the, I don't know why they call it this. In fact, I can never even remember what it stands for. It's BMW's term for like the primary ECU that runs the car. DME. What is a DM? My search history includes BMW bricked DME. What I'm doing now is trying to... digital motor electronics. Okay. DME on... So, BMW call the main ECU, which is the electronic control unit that runs the car, the DME, the digital motor electronics. Don't know why. That's just their term for it. So the DME is like the primary brain of the car, and then there are many other ECUs that do different things. And there's one, for example, looking after the transmission. There's the transmission control unit, the TCU. I think that's what BMW call it. It's what most other people call it. Typical cars these days have at least dozens, probably hundreds of ECUs in them. And so Anyway, they did a factory reset on the DME and on the transmission control unit, and it was previously running a custom map on the DME to increase the power quite significantly and change a few other things, because the car has mechanical modifications, and it was remapped to suit, like, well, the car was modified mechanically, and then it was all of the remapping was done to suit the mechanical modifications. And the transmission control unit was also wiped, which means all of the shift points were wiped in for gear changes. It lost its full manual mode, so by default that particular car doesn't have a proper manual mode. When you put it into manual mode and then select a gear, if the TCU thinks that you should be in a different gear, it takes over, switches you back to auto mode, and it just changes gear on you, and it drives me crazy. So, like, when I put it in a gear, I want it to be in that gear. I don't want it to think, no, 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 I disagree with you, I'm going to just keep it in the gear I put it in. And I drove the car for a few weeks like that, and it was just kind of annoying and frustrating, and probably it was about 25% down on power compared to what it would have been, but mostly the annoyance was in the with the transmission control unit, so it was the behavior of the gearbox that was really frustrating me. So anyway, DIY, cool. Thanks for coming along. And so previously it was running a custom profile on the TCU with 3 profiles. It had just a regular profile which pretty well matched the factory profile in terms of all the shift points and things, and it was in full auto mode. Or you could put it into sport mode, which had significantly changed shift points. It would allow the car to rev a lot more and bring it up into a higher rev range, and allow the turbos to come on boost a bit more. And then in manual mode as well, it had like a full manual mode, so you'd change into a gear and it would just stay in that gear like until it hit the red line or whatever, hit the rev limiter, and it wouldn't try to auto change on you. So that was what got wiped. This is a very long way of telling the story. So okay, that's the background. So back to, I think it was Monday, maybe Monday. Yeah. I got my phone. So the way to do the reflashing of these things on a BMW on these particular years, this particular year at least, is with a CAN interface going into the OBD2 port, and you connect it to typically an Android device. So in my case, I had it plugged into my phone, and then there are a couple of bits of software that you run, one of which allows you to reflash the DME, and the other one allows you to reflash the transmission control unit. And so what happened was, it was Monday afternoon, I plugged in my phone, pulled up the software, and selected the profile that I wanted to load and tried to flash it, and the flash process began, and it got maybe 30 seconds into it, a minute into it, something like that. So the initial flash, the first time you flash the primary ECU, so the DME, it takes around 22 minutes. And yeah, I got 30 seconds to a minute into it, and it came up with a message saying that the flash failed. And that was not good. So I tried again, and it then said it was unable to communicate with the DME. So basically, I could turn on the ignition of the car and nothing, like, it didn't work. Like, that's like saying to an IT person, my computer doesn't work. Yeah, what do you mean by it doesn't work? All right, so I could turn on the ignition, I could crank like press the start button, which would crank the starter motor, but then all sorts of warnings came up on the dash, and the main one was that it was saying that the fuel pump was not running, and that was not good. So I could lock and unlock the car, I could turn on the ignition, and I could crank it, but that was it. And it was just lots and lots of errors. And when I tried to communicate over a CAN bus talking to the car, I couldn't get a connection to the DME. So the primary ECU in the car was just not responding. And that is a really, really bad sign. That the analogy is, it's like the heart was still beating, but it was brain dead. It would power up, but it wouldn't run. And so I spent hours trying to fix this on that Monday afternoon and evening. I looked up lots of information about it online. I found horror stories from people saying that they had bricked their DME by doing this and cost them $1,200. This was in like a US forum, so $1,200 US to get a replacement DME. Michael says, DME response, I'm a potato. Yes, it was a potato at that point. And so I ended up getting a lift. Lachlan gave me a lift, dropped me off at home that night, and then my son picked me up the next morning and brought me back. And 2 doors behind here, there is a business doing custom ECUs for performance cars. And so they came down and had a quick look and went, this looks bad. They normally deal with aftermarket things. Like they've got this crazy project at the moment. It looks insane. They've got an ice cream van in their workshop, which has been dumped. So it's sitting like right down on the ground with like 20-inch rims on it. And it just looks insane. It looks like an ice cream van that could run a 10-second quarter mile. It's nuts. Anyway, they came down and said, "Don't want to touch this. It looks like a bit of a painful thing." So I ended up transport my car. They came and picked it up for a quick cashy job. Took my car from here to Eastern BM. And at this point, I thought my car was dead. I thought I'd totally killed it. I'd probably be up for thousands of dollars to get a new ECU because I'd screwed the one that was in it. And the guys at Eastern BM were really nonchalant about it. They were like, yeah, bring it in, we'll have a look, we'll see. Usually we can recover it. So after all of this, got the car delivered there. I went with it. He plugged in a 50 amp battery charger and said, "Oh, give me your phone and I'll try it again." Plugged my phone in, pressed the button, and the flash worked. And the whole thing was, it took about 22 minutes, but it worked. And it was doing the exact process that I had just tried to do many, many times and been unable to get working. So this is the thing. When I don't know how general this is on these cars, but on this particular car, when you put the key in the ignition and it turns on, so the engine's not running, it's just sitting there doing absolutely nothing except with the ignition turned on, the car pulls probably 20 to amps, which is, to me, that seems bonkers. That's a huge amount of power. And so what happens is that because the engine isn't running, the engine can't be running because you're reflashing the main ECU that is running the engine. So you can't reflash it while it's running, which means that you don't have the alternator keeping the voltage stabilized. So when you start doing the flash, what happens is that the voltage begins to droop on the 12 volt rail, And eventually it gets to the point where the ECU detects that it's low voltage and it will abort the flash process, and it aborted it halfway through, so it had like a partial image and it wasn't booting properly. So yes, yes, you got to connect to a charger before doing the flash. Yes, so that was the story. Oh, and the cool thing was that they did all of this and checked out my car and made sure everything was working properly, and reapplied the Stage 2 Plus profile to it, so I've got full power back now on the engine. I haven't reflashed the transmission, but I've got full power back on the engine, and then didn't even charge me for it. So that was super nice of them. Anyway, Eastern BM are great. I like them. They've looked after me in the past when I've needed help as well. So Austin says, the other part you'd have to worry about with the dead CAN module is worrying about if it potentially keeps the CAN bus alive so that the car never sleeps and thus would kill your battery. Yes, that's interesting. Yeah, with the dead CAN, it potentially keeps the CAN bus alive. So the question, what I don't know with modern cars like this, is how power is switched when you plug in the when you stick the key in the dash, because it's got the security code on it. It's an RFID type key, or whatever technology they use, and the car must be alive to some extent and awake all the time, because there must be at least some small subsystem which is running the RFID reader and listening for the remote control. So the receiver for the remote control's got to be running. It's got to have some functionality even when the car is turned off, or being pulled by the car, but it's tiny. So you could leave the car for weeks and the battery wouldn't go flat. But I suspect that in my car, if I left it, the battery would go flat. The Lane says BMW in the US is never that nice. Is a third party, like it's not a BMW dealer. It's a place that does performance modifications and stuff to BMWs. It's basically a specialist BMW performance place. So they have crazy cars there, really, really nice ones. They had a I won't go into it. When I was there, they had some very nice cars. Right, where are we? Many modules have constant power and switch power on their connectors. Yeah. Austin says, depends on the subsystems, but considering cars can easily have 80 plus CAN modules, you really don't want the bus staying alive, and thus modules consume power continuously. Yep. Now, CAN bus being a differential bus, yes, it can have a very small amount of parasitic power going through it. Yeah. Doji says, robot on Discord. Oh, speaking of Discord, reminds me, I had forgotten that Aaron had sent some screenshots, and I'm going to, let's open, hang on. I want to see if I can get this out into the, how do I open this? I think I'm going to have to download it. Oh, here we go. Downloading a movie attachment so that I can show you. Open. Okay. I'm just grabbing these things out of Discord so that I can show them to you without Where are we? There we go. Open and open that one. All right. Yeah, I want to show you these without actually opening Discord and revealing all of that. Okay, so these are the two things that Aaron is. I'm going to hit play on this video. So what is this first one? Touch panel. Okay. So this is a video showing the touch panel configuration. Button emoji work. Cool. I like that animation on that button. Hang on, I'm going to go back to that. Back to here and play. It's like a wibbly wobbly sort of thing. Look at that. That's cool. All right, so what's this other one? Play the animation on this one. Do not disturb on. Yep, turning on a whole bunch of things. Ooh, button level up. Okay, you can see the level going up each time the up is tapped. Neat. Yeah, this UI looks really cool. Yeah. Oh, Michael pointed out this is in regards to the car power consumption. If nothing else, the immobilizer is using a small amount of power. Yeah. Alrighty. So, I am kind of tempted to try to get this working. I don't have anything else to talk about on the stream. So, I might as well try to get this thing running and you can see. So Aaron said, did you hear that Tesla are changing all their cars' internal low voltage to 48 volt? My guess is others will follow as it makes sense. Yep. Yes. So and many other cars are already doing that. I'm working on, so this is something I can't talk about. I'm not going to give you any details about this at all because I'm not going to reveal anything. I gained a new client fairly recently. It's one that I have not mentioned on a stream, but it's automotive related and but cars. So I've already told you about, you know, working on a couple of truck related things. You've seen the water cannon, which goes on trucks which run typically 24 volts for their internal wiring. They normally run on 24 volt systems. But this is a different client that I have never mentioned, never alluded to, never revealed anything about it because it's a confidential project and I signed an NDA to work on it. So I'm not going to tell you anything about it, except that the cars that I'm working on for that have 48 volts internally. Now they also have 12 volts, and so there's a board that I've been working on the design for that needs 24 volts. So the thing that I've just been working on over the last couple of weeks has included taking the 48 volt rail and regulating it to 24 volts and using the switched 12 volt rail that comes off the ignition to run power to some MCUs. But anyway, yes, the point is 48 volts seems to be the new norm for car manufacturers. You're going to get 12 volts coming out of it, and I think that'll continue just because it is expected that a cigarette lighter is a 12 volt socket, and people make accessories like phone chargers and stuff that plug into cigarette lighters, so that can stay as 12 volts. But a lot of other things within cars, like the general internal buses in cars now, are moving to 48 volt. Right. Michael said, well, we are talking electric cars. No, in my case, I'm not. I'm talking about well, one of them, yeah, primarily internal combustion engine cars, but very, very high-end internal combustion engine cars, like house type cars, you know, that sort of thing. Yeah, so, and they are 48 volt. So maybe one day I'll be able to tell you a little bit about that project, or at least who the customer is, and then you can see their publicly available information about the stuff they do. But according to the terms of my NDA, I'm not even allowed to reveal the name of my client, like who the company is. But it is a lot of fun. It's one of.
Sorry, I don't know that one.
It's one of those mind-blowing projects. So you know that my expectation for a project to be amazing is set pretty high, considering some of the things I've worked on with things like the ArduSat project. So I've sent stuff into orbit. So for a project to be kind of mind-blowing to me, the bar is pretty high. And this is a mind-blowing project and client. So I'm not going to do anything to screw it up. Yeah, it's the sort of thing I'd really love to talk about, but I'm just not going to. All right, so let's get rid of these just for now and come back to hang on. All right, I'm back. So what I was going to pull up again was, where was that makerdoc.io, oxrs.makerdoc.io, oxrs.makerdoc.io. I wonder if DNS is updated now so the other thing works. I can't even remember. Hang on, I got to go back into Aaron's messages. Where was it? About the touch. Let's see if it works now. touch.oxrs.io. Hopefully that will now resolve to the correct thing. Not secure. There isn't a GitHub. Okay. Maybe I screwed that up. It's oxrs.io.github.io here. Now unless this URL is incorrect, it's possible that I've messed this up. So oxrs-io.github.io, and there is no site there. Okay, let's do it this way then. oxrs.makerdoc.io, which is the hosted thing. Aaron says that won't work yet. Haven't swapped the CNAME as you were playing with it on the old CNAME. Okay, cool. So this is the old CNAME. Maybe then oh, hang on. So Aaron said, Austin said oxrs.io. Right. Oh yeah, Stephen said you have a dot on the end. Yeah. That will. Stephen says confirmed. He is working on the Apple car. No, it is more mind-blowing than that. Working on the Apple car. I don't even know if that's a real thing. That story has been going around for so many years that I've got no idea if Apple is actually working on a car. No, this is much more high-end. So, what am I doing? I have no idea. Oh, that's right. I was putting in, this is where I wanted to not have a revealed username and password. Okay. Port 443. Oh, Aaron says the CNAME you added is correct, don't worry. Okay. Mitchell says the subdomain is the org company group, and then you have to define the repo and project URL like a directory. Oh, Michael says the rumor is Apple are working with Hyundai and Kia at a joint venture level. Yeah, Kia have been doing really, really interesting EV stuff. That's oh, okay. Aaron says I just haven't changed it in the settings as you were showing it on the old CNAME, and I didn't want it to stop working. Wouldn't both of them work at the same time? Now that because a CNAME is just like an alias essentially, and you can have multiple CNAMEs pointing to the same destination, I think. Or am I misunderstanding? It's quite likely that I'm misunderstanding. So it should be possible to have both working at the same time. I'm probably wrong. DNS is one of those things that, you know, you can think you understand it and then discover that you really have no idea. All right, now back to this. What do I need to set up on my broker? I'm just going to take this off. No, I'm going to leave that there. I'm going to leave it here, and I'm going to do, what do? I'm going to put something else interesting on. I just dropped my microphone. Put something else interesting on camera. Not that this is very interesting when it's not turned on, but oh look, you can all look at the touch screen. So while you're doing that, I am going to, where is it? I am going to, okay, Stephen says you can have as many CNAMEs as you want, but if it's the SSL, the certs need to have one for each redirect or you get cert failure messages. Right. And Aaron says you're correct, but there's reasons, don't worry, it's all in hand. It's all right, I trust you, Aaron. Now, I am just copying and pasting the username and password for my MQTT broker because it is a randomly generated thing. So I'm going to go to go to here, and I'm going to change port 443, enable SSL. Let's just see what happens. I'm just going to try some connections, and if it works, I will bring it up on screen. If not, we will try to fix whatever it happens to be. Nope. Okay. Failed to construct a WebSocket and insecure, blah, 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 maybe blah over blah. All right. I probably should just get the Docker image. That would be easier, wouldn't it? Maybe I could even do that on, where could I run it? Now, where is the Docker image? Maker.io. So, I don't know. Where is, I've lost track of where I was even saying things, because I'm saying things in Discord and in chat, like in the YouTube chat, and I don't know where I read about the Docker image. I don't know. I can't even find it now. You know what I really want? I want to assemble something on stream. Soon. I'll have some kits. What am I doing? Okay, slight change of... Oh, Aaron just sent me a link to Docker Hub. Oh, it's on Docker Hub. All right, let's have a look at let's see if that's appeared. Hang on. All right. I'm just going to log into my NAS. Oh, I've got to authenticate. And once again, it is a ridiculous, long, randomly generated thing. Come on, where is... No. Where is the terminal? There it is. Okay. I have trouble typing and talking at the same time. Particularly when I'm trying to type a GPG passphrase, because I have a habit of, if I'm talking and I type, I will just say what it is that I'm typing while I'm typing it without even thinking about it. So I have to just shut up and type and not say anything while I'm doing that. Let's see if it has appeared, because it's let's go to container registry. Here we go. Let's see if anything appears in here. Insert OXRS. It may actually be in here. Look at this. Summer Boy 12, OXRS IO Touch Panel Web App, and OXRS Touch Panel Web App. Cool. So it's the Sumner Boy one. Oh, okay. Damn, sorry. I was okay, I won't say anything that errant. I'm just going to grab Sumner Boy 12 OXRS IO Touch Panel Web App and download that image, and I will try running that locally. So is that downloading? I find that the web UI for Docker management to be really strange in the Synology. What do they call the thing? What is Synology's web interface called? I can't remember. There's some term for it. Okay, so back up to here. Hang on. Why did all the desktop icons disappear? Maybe it's a zoom issue? No. View actual size. Okay. Sometimes it has problems scaling when I zoom it right in. What have we got? We've got registry, and we should have... No, not registry. Container. That's what I want. We will soon, hopefully, have the OXRS thing. But where is it? Why did it not download? Let's have a look for Sumner Boy. It was this one. Yes. Download. Loading. Okay, image. What have we got here? Image. Has it downloaded? It looks like it has. Yes, was successfully downloaded. But the weird thing is that you don't get any progress reports. So this is just a weird thing that I find about the way this management panel works. You can start downloading something and it immediately adds it in this list of images, but it may not actually have finished downloading yet. And then it's only when you get up the little pop-up message saying yes, it's finished downloading. Or maybe there is some way to tell, but I can't actually tell whether this is finished downloading unless the pop-up happens and then the pop-up disappears again. So anyway. Let's just do this. Launch. Yeah, same network as the Docker host, I guess. Nah, I'll just let it bridge. And container name, what do we call it? Touch panel. That'll do. High privilege, no. Resource, enable auto restart, not at this point. Enable web portal, no. Next. And, okay, so I've got to add a port. Container port 8080. I think 8080 might already be in use. I don't remember. Sorry, I just got distracted again by the chat. Someone quoting Spice Girls. Where was it? Dodgy says, tell me what you want, what you really, really want. Assemble some pizza. Yeah, Docker image was mentioned in chat. Docker was mentioned in chat back near the start. Yep. All right. So what am I going to map? Port 8080, I suppose. That'll do. Local. Enter available DSM ports in the local port field. No, to map the ports with container ports. The ports listed here are the containers exposed ports. All right, so it's going to expose container port 8080. I don't even know if I've got port 8080 in use at the moment, but let's try. Map volumes of the container to shared folders. No, I'm not going to for now. I don't want to keep any persistence or anything on this. I'm just going to run it and then probably blow it away. It conflicts with other ports. Yeah, I thought it probably would. All right, let's try port 8081 and see what we can find. Aaron asked, is loading it in Synology, does it set it to a fixed port? Yes, if I specify it like I just did, so that should be fine. Right, so then what should I be able to go to? 192.168.185 port 8081. Whoops, 8081. And let's see what we've got. Here we go. So this is now the locally hosted Docker version of that touch interface. Okay, so I'm going to temporarily, what am I going to do? Doesn't matter if you know my internal IP address for my broker. 192.168.1.185, I think that's it. Username, topic, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to temporarily pull this off the screen and type in my username and password, preferably without actually saying it while I'm doing it. Yep. Connect. Yeah, I may not have all the necessary things set up. Oh. Reload. What? Hang on. 8081. Back to here. Okay. So don't need SSL, but you do need WebSockets enabled on broker, which is typically port 9001. Okay. So do I even have WebSockets enabled on the broker? I don't know. If I telnet to port 9001, maybe I'll be able to find out if there's anything listening on that. So telnet 68.1.185 port 9000. Oh, what? Command not found. Telnet What? So macOS doesn't even have Telnet installed anymore. Well, I suppose that's kind of a good thing. What else can I use to try to connect to a port? Doji says, ask ChatGPT and we'll give you a 6-character answer. That's about describing my password. Alright, what can I use instead of Telnet to try to connect to a port? I think I'm yak shaving at this point. Let's try something different. I want to see, how do I see if I've got WebSockets enabled on Mosquito? I think I probably need to look at the config file, which will be, oh, putty. Doji says you might Telnet disable in your NAS. No, it's the problem is that I don't have the Telnet client installed on my Mac. Ooh, this is actually a question that I really like. So I'm gonna follow this squirrel just for a second. Jamie said, I really like your assembly streams. Are there any other streams where people assemble various electronics? So that question goes out to the audience. So if you've got suggestions for people that do assembly on streams, feel free to stick them in the chat. And Austin does streams, yes. So check out Austin's Creations. And I'm pretty sure if you, in the chat, if you click on Austin's Creations username in the chat, you can go to his channel and then subscribe to Austin. So Austin does assembly streams that go for hours and hours and hours. Oh, Scott pointed out, Telnet should no longer be installed anywhere. Yeah. As a client, it can be useful though. I know Telnet as a service is so last century and problematic, but the Telnet client can still be useful just for connecting to random services to, you know, see if ports are active or whatever. Oh, where are they? Okay, Mosquito. Config, where do I get to the config on this? I think I'm going to need to SSH to my NAS, which I haven't done for so long that I don't even remember what user or anything. I don't know if I have, oh, it helps if you get the IP address correct. Do I have a, okay, I'm going to have to look up the password for my NAS. Oh, looks like this might be the password. It is. Okay. Now, next question is, where, I'm just going to bring this up where you can watch along. Where is the volume mapped to? Let's see. So in container, Mosquito, details, where is the volume? The config is, come on, give me more than that. Okay, so I've got, that is the file that I believe I want to look at, and it is in Docker Mosquito conf. All right, where is Docker? So that will be in where volume 1, I think, is Docker in there. Docker, yes. Ah, that shortcut is not there. Okay, and then into Mosquito, and then config and mosquito.conf. Now, is this going to reveal anything? I don't know. So I'm going to do this, but first I'm going to do this, just while I open it. And it is not revealing anything bad. That's okay. But I need to, that's read only, so I need to sudo it. Oh, Michael said Netcat can be a bit configgy, but it's useful too. Yeah. Scott pointed out Netcat is the current tool to replace Telnet as a random port explorer. Yes. So Dodgy pointed out Austin does live streams. Sion, who is Unexpected Maker, does live streams, and probably a couple of others, but not regularly like the first two. Yeah, thanks Dodgy. Luminator said Austin's creations. When I hover over your comment, I just get options to block or report. Please don't do either of those things to Austin. Austin, feel free to post. I think Austin, you're an admin, so feel free to post a. Oh, thanks, Keith. A link to your channel, and you can post a link to Sion's channel as well if you like. Yes, thanks, Austin. All right, so Keith pointed out Listener 9001 protocol WebSockets. All right, getting back to here. Oh, except that this is read only. No, got to get out of that because I'm going to have to sudo that, which means I think that, which means I want to do a new listener on port 9001 and protocol WebSockets. Will that do the job? I don't know. Does that look correct to you, Keith? So the way this works, from my limited understanding of the new way the Mosquito config works, is you define listeners. So I've got a listener on port 1883, which is the normal MQTT port. It's the non-SSL port, I think. I can't remember what the SSL port is. Keith says, does it for me? Awesome. Aaron says, yep. Okay, so we have to explicitly tell it to listen on port 1883 for the normal MQTT protocol stuff. And then here we're explicitly telling it that we have a listener on port 9001 and that the protocol is WebSockets. Okay, so if I now do a, because this is in Docker, to restart the service, I think the simplest thing is if I just restart the image. So the way I've got this set up at the moment, you can see this path right here. So volume 1 is one of the storage volumes on my NAS, and then I made a directory called Docker, which contains the config. This is mapped into the Docker image so that it's persistent. So even if I download a new Docker image and for a Mosquito and run it, whatever is stored in here will be persistent. So the config will be persistent. Docker restart X. Okay, so if I do probably sudo docker restart, what is the service called? Mosquito. Oh, excuse me. What is the service? I wonder if I've got a map in here as well. I probably do have to add a port mapping. Do Docker PS. Okay. Docker PS. Oh, of course. Sudo make me a sandwich Docker. All right. I want this one. And container ID. So I think I can do it based on the container ID. Is that right? So I should be able to do sudo docker restart container ID, which should restart that mosquito instance. Maybe. Aaron says there's also a restart button on that UI. Yes, which I could have done just right in here. Here we go, restart. Would have done the same thing. All right, so now that has restarted. However, I have a feeling that I might need to do a new mapping in here. And I don't think I'm going to be able to do that while it's running. So let's use the UI, stop it, and do port mapping. How do I add a port mapping in here? Or do I even, you could do, oh, okay, so Mitchell said, when you perform any action in Docker, what it does is matching. So if you have no containers with a number 9, you could do a Docker restart 9 and it would match. Wow, that sounds both dangerous and powerful. Okay, so this one, yeah, so if I did like a Docker restart 9BA, for example, then it would probably not find anything else, and it would restart that one, as long as you're sure that there is nothing else, no other image here that has 9BA in its ID. Okay, so as long as it's unique, it'll be okay. Otherwise, you probably end up restarting 2 containers instead of 1. Yeah, right, so, and Peter says Portainer for the win. Yeah, I'm just using whatever is in, comes on the Synology NAS. This is just what it was. So I have a feeling that I may need to edit the config file for this container to add port 9001, because it'll be listening on port 9001, but Docker won't be exposing it to the networking. Yeah, Mitchell says for port mapping you're most likely going to have to change the container config. Yes. Thank you for confirming that my random thought was probably correct. Now, where is the container config? I have no idea. It's probably, oop. Ah, you can do it, you can do it. Is it in, oh, come on. I've got to get my fingers in the right place on the keyboard. Is it inside config? Maybe. Mitchell says if you are using compose files, edit that, else going to pre-create or use Portainer. Makes it easier. Yeah, I'm just using whatever is already installed on this. So what about what's in Mosquito? No, it won't be stored in there. Dodgy, I'm sure you could work out Docker better than I can. I don't have a clue what I'm doing. Docker inspect 9BA. Oh, thanks Mitchell. And I'll have to sudo it. Sudo docker inspect 9BA. And 9BA was that partial ID that we were talking about earlier. Now, is this going to reveal anything that I probably shouldn't reveal? I don't know. Now, what was I looking for again? Show path to config. That's right. Okay, so come back up here, scroll back. That's a whole lot of stuff. Docker entry point .sh. That's probably where it is. Is it as simple as? Yeah. Let's just try this. grep -i config. Let's see what it finds. Host config. Doji says, looks like you need Mitchell R on speed dial. Yes. I think I do too. So config, where is the Docker config? Perhaps not there. All right. So I have a feeling that it is this file, Docker entry point, or maybe no, that's just what it's loading. Maybe I shouldn't even be spending my time doing this on a live stream. Result config path, host path, log path, name, where, or I could just Google for where does Synology store its Docker compose files. Docker mosquito log, that's mounts, that's not useful for this. Config, oh look at this, exposed ports, that's what we want to change. Question is, where is this coming from though? Gonna have to do Docker run again. Okay. Oh, Mitchell says, I think it's done via UI manually and not compose. Okay. So let's go back and dig into the UI a little bit more. And right now it is in a stopped state. So let's go back to editing here. Oh, port settings. That's where it is. I could have just done it through the UI right from the beginning. 9001 TCP save. And is that going to conflict with anything else? No, it is not. Which is good. Alright, so back to Eclipse Mosquito and overview, where are we? Registry container, Eclipse Mosquito, action, start. Yes. Yeah, Mitchell says, for the win Synology, at least you have learnt some stuff now. Yeah. Okay, so Eclipse Mosquito is now up and running. Let's just have a look at the details on it, and it's now reporting this port. Does this mean that we have web services enabled? I don't know. Okay, I'm going to try this connection again, but I need to do this to you temporarily. So what is, I've got to look it up again. Where is the password for that, for the broker? It'd be nicer if I could remember it, but I can't. And let's see if any of the other stuff is necessary. No, it still won't connect. Connect. No, it doesn't want to. Tourist says, what are we playing with today? I don't know. Docker apparently, yeah. Because I'm trying to play with getting my MQTT broker to have WebSockets, and I can't connect to it. So maybe it's an SSL thing. Now, all right. I'm going to bring you back in here. You can see the password that I'm using for the broker, but you can't, no, sorry, you can see a username that I'm using for the broker, but you can't see the password, so that's kind of okay. But in this, but it's not connecting, so I've got port 9. Oh, did I have to actually put it in? It was showing it. Does it try the default if you don't put anything in? surely that whatever is displayed in the background of the input is, yeah, type in 9001. Yeah, but it was showing a default value. My super duper ID. Connect. If there is a default value in an input field, doesn't it use it? It's the UI, always the UI when it's not the DNS. Yeah, okay. Do I need to enable SSL? I don't think I've got SSL turned on the broker. No, nothing's happening. I don't need a topic prefix and stuff, do I? I assume not. Yeah, Keith said, oh, it's a hint, not a default. Okay. Right. Now, what I don't know is whether it's actually listening. I wonder if, oh, Telnet D. No, I don't want to run Telnet D. Okay, Netcat. Netcat? Oh, Netcard tool. What about Netcat? How can I check whether the port is listening using Netcat? Netcat. Yeah. Netcat library is installed, but not the Netcat binary on my local computer. This feels like such a yak shaving thing. Alright, I need another quick drink of cordial. And back. Oh, try NC instead of the whole name. Alright, NC. Not on... Yeah, okay, so I've got NC on my local machine. Netstat minus ANP pipe grep listen. Well, that would be on here, I guess. Netstat minus ANP grep listen. Let's try that. Listening. Alright, that's showing lots and lots of things. How about listen and then grep for 9001? Okay. A hint should become the default or used value, or you must raise an error stating empty field is not allowed. Okay. So... yeah, maybe it does become the default value. I don't know. Yes, listening, says Michael. Right. So we do have a thing that is listening on 9001. But could this be an SSL thing? Maybe make the port 9001 example text state, e.g. 9001, to reduce any possible confusion. Yes, that's a good suggestion, Stephen. Oh, my brain is struggling. I had a coffee this morning, but for some reason, F12? F12. What is F12? Look at network connections in DevTools. Oh. Oh. Okay. Cool. F12. Let's see. F12. Ooh. And look at that. Thank you for that tip, Mitchell. So WebSocket connection to this failed. Failed to load server. Hang on, I'm going to clear this. Can I, can I remove all of these? Filter, top, blah. Okay, because I don't know which is the most recent. I'm just going to try doing a connection again, and we'll see what appears. Connect. And nothing happened. Okay. Go to the network tab and you can see all the actual requests. Clear equals the deny circle. What's the deny circle? That one? Clear console. Yes. Okay. So now if I try doing a connect, nope, I see nothing. Network. Okay. We have, this is just the request for 9001 MQTT. Okay. Status 101 switching protocols. I don't know what that means. Headers, messages, binary message. So that means it is responding. Okay. 101 switching protocols. That means it is responding. That is binary message. Binary message. So that's all correct. I guess as we're now connected, we need to send a config to render, says Austin. Okay. Okay, so Aaron said, have you got an MQTT client on your Mac to try and connect via WebSockets? I actually have no idea, because I normally do it off the command line. I've got the MQTT command line tools, but I don't know how to specify a WebSocket connection on that. Let's find out. Mosquito sub WebSocket. Can I, using MQTT over WebSockets with Mosquito? And it is, let's see. Okay, I'm going to skip all of that. I want to jump to the TLDR. Oh, cool. This is the modification that was done to the config. Testing. Okay, using both the Paho client. So that's Python and blah, blah, blah. Data received. Okay. Aaron said, it's connected, you will be redirected when connected. Okay. Alright, JavaScript web browser client. So you need to create a web page and enter your JavaScript code. No, what I'm looking for is just a local client to connect the web socket. Just connect using a normal MQTT way. Oh, okay, says Mitchell. In that case, let's just try this. I'm going to do a voice command. Alexa, turn off the office lights. Okay, well that worked. So the broker is running. Keith says you can use Node-RED to create WebSocket connection too. So the broker is running and it is listening in the normal way. It may be working with WebSockets as well. I just can't tell. WS MQTT client, just different protocols to connect to broker. To see traffic, you can see under messages. Okay. I don't follow that. Yeah. I am really not with it. What is going on? All right. Oh, look, there's some stuff going on. I don't know what. but there are some things happening. I'm just trying to, oh, I just click connect and something happened there on network. Elements, console, sources, network. What we need to do is connect the device, says Mitchell. Sorry, I'm scanning back through the chat, just trying to parse some specifics out of it. Okay, so Mitchell says, WebSocket's MQTT client, just different protocols to connect to broker. To see traffic, you can see it under messages. Under the network tab, open connection, messages. Network tab, open connection, messages. Where is open connection? I don't see open connection. Messages. I don't know where that is. And Mitchell says it's binary, but you can see the data being received, but ignore this really. What we need to do is connect the device. Austin says refresh the page and try again. Chip is being lunch monitor today. Chip says it's 22 minutes till lunch. That's what's going on. Yeah, that is probably... Okay. I am going to come back to here. Refresh. Can't be found. Yeah, when it goes to config, it says it can't be found. Now, hang on, that was going to, oh yeah, 8081. Config. Why does it say that can't be found? No web page under that address, 8081 config. But that was the, I'm just copying this to see what goes on. But that was the URL I was just at. So if I remove the config, then it loads and it changes the URL to include config in it. That seems quite suspicious to me. Keith says create connection in Node-RED to the MQTT and then create an MQTT node and debug. Some call it fun. How many engineers does it take to turn on a light bulb? Many. And literally turning on a light bulb is what we're doing in this situation. So this maybe this is like a red herring, but this seems suspicious to me. See, what's going on here is that if I go to just port 8081, it looks like I'm getting redirected to add the config on the end here in the URL. The page is loaded, but if I just go to that URL, it doesn't work. It says that it's not found. So I need to remove the config and go to just the port, and then it adds the config back in. Okay, Mitchell says that /config issue is just UI something. Basically the JavaScript changes the URL, but the server isn't set up correctly. That is fine. Okay. Okay, but what this makes me suspicious of is that if the URL has been rewritten, so it thinks that this is its current URL, but that is not valid, then when I try to connect, it might be trying to connect to the wrong URL. But I don't know. Anyway, I've reloaded all of this, so let's do the thing. Port 9001, username you've already seen. I've revealed that, so that's not a mystery. Stick in the password. That'll do as the client ID, and connect. And that doesn't work. Oh, Mitchell says, no, not a problem if only a single route is used, so all fine. Yep. Okay, cool. Do I need a topic prefix? Like, can I stick in... Yeah, do I actually need these topic prefixes and things? Okay, so Mitchell said in Vue.js you can have the URL changed 30 times without even reloading the page and the site would work. Very nice. Yes. Cool. Is the device connected and online, physical? I thought that there isn't a device at this point. So what we're looking at here is the web interface, which is trying to connect to the MQTT broker. Yeah, so this is just HTML, which is a touchscreen friendly interface to pretend to be the equivalent of this thing that you can hardly see that's in the dark. So the touch UI that runs on this touchscreen, Alexa, please turn on the office lights. So the touch UI that runs on this needs this hardware, but what we're looking at here is a web version of the same sort of touchscreen. Yep. And so what it should be doing is connecting to the broker and pretend and behaving in the same way as the physical touchscreen, but it's all being done in the browser. So you could run it on a tablet or a phone or whatever. So this is a very, very useful thing. This would be very cool, for example, to... I've got a tablet here somewhere, which I would... Where did it go? I thought it was there. Yes. It's so skinny that it was lost in a few pieces of paper. It's got some black tape around the edge at the moment just to... This is an old Samsung tablet. This is my friend Chris's tablet that he used to have attached to his wheelchair, and it then he then switched to a phone because the tablet had some issues. It was just really annoying with the Bluetooth interface on the wheelchair. So I've got this, and I could attach this to the wall and run that as a touchscreen interface. So it'd be really nice to get this working. Doji said, so this is the programming equivalent of a device emulator. Kind of. Oh, Keith said, I just tried on my own version and I can only do it with SSL. All right. I don't know. I don't think SSL is even set up on, on that broker. On my local MQTT. So we've got WebSockets, but I don't think I've got SSL. So I just tried with enable SSL and connect, and I get some things coming up here, but I still don't get anything else coming up. Right. Okay, so I had not been paying attention to what Aaron was telling me in Discord. Aaron said, you don't need SSL, but you do need WebSockets enabled on the broker. So listener protocol WebSockets, yep, okay, which is what we've already done. Aaron says, go to console in DevTools. Console, right here. Okay. So, what have we got in here? WebSocket connection to this failed. MQTT failed. WSS 192.168.1.185.9001 MQTT. Austin said, did you restart the correct mosquito broker on your NAS? Yes, there's only one running on the NAS. Okay, so Keith says, I'll need a cert and another listener. Okay, and Aaron says WebSocket's not working on Broker. And also says, this works for all of us, by the way. Everyone except me. I'm the problem child, the odd one out with a strange setup. Okay, so to clarify that I am understanding what you're saying, Aaron. So what you're saying is that WebSockets, what this is indicating is that WebSockets is not working on the broker. So whatever I did to do the configuration earlier, the changes on the broker, is not working. And Keith said, try to make the WSS connection in the node red MQTT node. Okay. Right. In that case, let's have a look. Let's try this one. So this is back to where you've seen previously. Dashboard. Oh, this is the touchscreen thing that we were playing around with a couple of weeks ago. So, MQTT. Let's try a, let's just stick a connection in here. And how do I set this to be, so 185 topic stat QS name, I'll just get rid of that and subscribe to a single topic, and yeah, I don't really, all I want to see is whether it's going to, I wonder if I can just subscribe to wildcard, which is potentially dangerous. I'm going to see if use TLS connect automatically, port, blah, blah, blah. All right, let's add a new MQTT broker. So, edit this one, and I'm going to call it local WebSockets, and it is going to be 68.1.185, and it's going to be on port 9001. How do I specify? Oh, protocol. There's an MQTT v5. How do I specify that I want a WebSockets connection? The side scrolling is back. What's this? What was with the side scrolling? I can't remember. Add new broker. Right. Yeah, so security. Okay, I am going to have to add this. And I'm going to copy the password. Is it going to show this password? Let's see. I'm going to pull it off screen, paste it in. No, it didn't show it. That's good. All right, so messages, security, connection. TLS is currently turned off. Hopefully that's okay. MQTT version 3. Hopefully that's okay. All I changed was that it's on port 9001. Is that enough for it to know to do a WebSockets connection? I don't know. Output a parse JSON object. Yeah, that'll do. I don't care. And I'm going to stick a debug node in here and there. Do we have any other debug turned on here? Turn that one off. And deploy debug on current flow, yes. And so what should be happening here? Well, it says connecting. So far it is not connecting. And that means that, well, until it connects, nothing else is going to work. Keith says, remember you prefix the IP with WSS : Okay, cool. Let's edit that broker. WSS : It's not :// or anything. Done, and deploy, and it still says connecting. If it was going to connect, it should do it immediately. Alright, let's just have another quick look at this broker setup and see if I've got it. So I've got WSS 192.168.1.185. That is definitely the IP of my NAS. I've got port 9001, connect automatically, use TLS is turned off. Oh, it's not WSS, says Aaron. Okay. Right, so I'll get rid of that. Just leave the IP and the port. Use clean session, client ID, leave blank for auto generated, that should be fine. Security, I've got the username and the password set. And that's it. But it is still failing to connect. So I think maybe there is a problem in my Mosquito config. Don, you're a long way from home. So Don said, made it. Hi all, in Vancouver for work. Cool. Checking in from Vancouver instead of from New Zealand. Yeah, so as I was saying, my suspicion is that I just don't have my broker set up correctly. What is going on with my broker? Maybe cd docker, where am I? Mosquito and config mosquito.conf. I've got to get my NAS password again. Okay, where's my NAS password? Here it is. Got to paste it in. Okay. Oh, Chip is saying 5 minutes to pizza. I don't have pizza today. I'm thinking of maybe after this live stream I might run up the street to the open mat at the gym. Get in like half an hour or so of rolling before everybody goes home. So, just checking this again. I've got Listener 9001 protocol WebSockets. Should it be WebSockets or WebSocket? WSS :/ was for TLS. Yeah, it's not for TLS, says Aaron. All right. Oh, speaking of pizza though, on the subject of lunch, I had recently I've talked about. Ooh, Mitchell says, wanted to use a hosted broker of mine quickly. Yeah, that'd be cool. Thanks. Just to be able to show it working. Yeah, and then I can figure out my problem later. So I've talked about having like a barbecue lunch on a Sunday here after live streams, and during the week I got an email with a very kind offer of a barbecue. And it's not sorry, distracted, above the standard listener. Really? Okay, hang on. I'll get back to that. So, I had an offer. It's not a finalized arrangement yet, but I had someone, I had a viewer who is someone who is normally regularly in the chats, and I'm not sure if I haven't actually talked to them about this. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say who it is, but I will give credit if possible, has offered a barbecue, and so that means very soon I will be able to have things go on here. So if anyone is in Melbourne and wants to come along at the end of a live stream and have like a barbecue lunch or something, very soon I'll be able to do that, which will be really cool. Oh, Keith H says, okay to say, yes. So, Keith, thank you. Yes, that's something that we need to follow up, but Yes, might be using, there'll be more about that. I just wanted to mention that in passing. There will be a lot more about that when actual arrangements are made, and I've cleared some space in the front by moving stuff back once things are up on the mezzanine. So don't worry, I will talk about barbecues and meetups and things like that a lot more in future. It just popped into my head, so I wanted to say it. So Ben was saying it might be using that password file for 1883 listener only. Therefore, your WebSocket listener has no auth. Just a guess. Yes. However, the way authentication works in the Mosquito broker is that if you do not have authentication required in the broker, and you send it a username and password, it ignores the username and password. So if, for example, the fact that the password file entry and allow anonymous false is above this listener means that the listener is not using a username and password, it should still accept a username and password, but it will accept any username and password because it just ignores it. But you are right that I should be looking at this. So move listeners together, says Aaron. Yes, okay. I will do that. Let's move that up to there so that the password file config is at the bottom. And now I'll go back to here and restart. Okay, so that has now restarted, and if we come back to here, let's just try this in Node-RED. Well, it still says connecting. Let's have a quick look at the config again, just to make sure. So I've got the IP security, I've got the username and password set in there, I've got port 9001 set, use TLS is turned off, it's MQTT version 3.1.1, so I wonder if I should switch to MQTT v5, I don't know, and I don't think it's, yeah, it still says connecting, so I don't think that has actually fixed it on the broker end. Okay. And all right, so I think it is worth now going to Mitchell's UNP is test. Okay, I'm just going back up to, I'll retry UI. Okay, that is worth trying. So let's just come back to here. It could be that the client is failing in Node-RED, but it would work in here. 68.1.185, port 9001, username. I will stick this in here again, but perhaps it is worth trying with no username and password. Let's just generate a blah random thing. Topic prefix and topic suffix. Do I need that? I don't know. Connect. And I'm not seeing anything happen. Oh, Mitchell says, make sure you define a topic prefix and suffix for the test and a client ID. Okay. So, oh, okay. Oh, Chris says, oh, it's Chris Aiken. The JS MQTT lib only supports 3.x. Okay, so not version 5. And to fill it to make it work and enable SSL. Okay, no prefix or suffix needed. I'm jumping around here and reading messages in random order, which is probably not helping. So, Chip is calling lunchtime, but it feels like it's really, really close. There's probably just some stupid thing that I've messed up that is stopping this from working. So I want to figure it out. Might just have been the enable SSL checkbox, says Mitchell. Yeah, but I don't think that's going to work in this case. Yeah, WebSocket connection failed, it still says. So, yes, I don't. As I've been trying this, I've been trying enable SSL as well. Oh, Mitchell says, I just want to see John see it. Okay. I want to get this working. So, maybe I should go back to plan B, which is connecting to Mitchell's broker. All right, now, Mitchell's hosted broker. Host. That is blank. What is the host? I don't know. It's, I think it got blanked out in the YouTube chat because because it's like posting your URL or something. So Mitchell, what is the URL? Or did you put that in Discord or somewhere? Okay, so port is here. I'm going to try connecting to Mitchell's broker. 38951. And what have I got? Client ID. Client AA. I'm having trouble parsing your messages. U and P is test. Oh, okay. So it's test and test. Client ID should, I don't think it really matters that much. Client AA. Okay, I'm just going to make the client AA because that's what you said it should be. Topic AA, suffix AA, probably enable SSL, but what I don't know is the host name. Oh, server, where was it? Server details above. I'm scrolling back, looking for Mitchell's host name. Okay. Plus equals dot. Right. So, where is the host name? Where is it? I still can't see anything in the chat. Mitchell. All right, I'm going to try something. Participants. Mitchell. No. How do I make you an admin? Check Discord. Okay. Thanks, Mitchell. Yeah, YouTube is doing its best to prevent us from seeing it, from seeing the URL. All right. In general, yes. Now, where? In, oh, which Discord? Are you talking about on the Superhouse Discord or in the OXRS Discord? Where is, I've got to find the OXRS Discord. There it is. In general. Aha, got it. Okay. Yep. Let's try this. And connect. Ooh, change your password. The password that you just used was found in a data breach. What? The password AA? Right. Okay. Now, let's see. Yeah, connect. All right, what else can I do? So settings, all right. The yeah, so it is a prefix and suffix isn't needed. Okay. Yeah, so the problem is in my broker. That is obviously the case. So I need to figure out what's going on with my mosquito broker and why it is not listening on listening to WebSockets. So the touch panel is connecting to that broker, and then I want to, well, I suppose what I need to do is change, excuse me, well, I can get rid of this because that's not doing anything. Just need to change the topics. Do what Ben suggested. Okay, use the same config you have for your WT32S, says Ben. Awesome. All right, just need to change the topics. Yeah, so this one, I need to add connection to I need a connection to Mitchell. Okay, how about this? Is audio back? Hang on. All right. That wasn't actually mute. It was the radio mic running out of battery. Yes. So I grabbed the other radio mic. Yeah, I need... That just goes to show that this stream has been going on for too long. All right. Right. So now I need to change these connections to use Mitchell's broker, I think is what I should be doing. So in here, let's try this. I'm just wondering if I want to do this. Can I copy this whole, let's see, oh. I'm losing my mind. What am I doing? Default MQTT port 8951. Right, Mitchell is trying to get me back on track because I'm losing the plot. Now, do I want to add a new broker in here? Add a new broker. Yeah, I'm just not so sure that I want to mess around with this config, although I can always get it back again. So I think the topic here should be AA, Command plus, and then copy paste into a blank tab. Yeah, let's do that. Instead of changing this, I'm going to copy selected nodes, add a flow, paste the nodes. Yes. Thank you, Aaron. That's what I should be doing. And then I'm going to add a new broker here. So what I will do is add Tradie Trev, not expecting to see me still live here. I shouldn't be. Yeah, so I'm just going to call this one Mitchell. The server is, do I have, yeah, so the server is this, and the port I need to change to 18951, and security username was AA, and yeah, Mitchell Spam Broker, says Aaron. Password is AA, connection, etc. Is that it? It's probably all I need, isn't it? And now, do I need to change this topic to AA? Oh no, the username and password was test. Yes, you are right, Mitchell. Thank you. It was the topics that were AA. And this one I will also change to use Mitchell as the broker and topic AA. I've got no idea if that's correct. And this one I will change to use Mitchell. And done. Deploy. Username was test. Yep. Change it. Oh no, I do not want to change it. Go away. Or just, no, go away. Alright. What do I need to do in here? So I probably have the topics and things. Topic is specified had prefixes and suffixes, right? So yes, it had in here, settings, it's got prefix and suffix as AA. Probs remove suffix in settings. Okay, so Mitchell, I will remove just the suffix or the prefix as well. Maybe I'll leave the prefix as AA and remove the suffix. And yep. Oh, stop complaining about the password, please. And in here, so topic is nothing. Both. Okay, so Aaron says remove both. Settings, remove both. Okay. No, go away. And in here, I've got no topic. This is publishing to, I don't even know what this is publishing to. So your topic is just AA. Okay. AA in there. And in here, it's got AA LWT, and in here it's got just AA. Conf/AA. Okay. Aaron says conf/AA. Where is that? Chip says it's at least a quarter past lunch. I know, but it feels like this is so close to working. Alright, look at original. Okay, going back to the original, we've got in here, we have stat, and then the device ID, and then LWT. Leave the MQTT out as nothing. The comments tell you where to change topics, says Austin. Okay. So, going back to this one, whoops, and here, I will leave the out as nothing, no topic, unchanged, and that's because it gets edited in here. Yes, of course it does. TPP config. So in this case, it's going, yeah, it's in here that I need to edit it. Alright, I will come back to those ones. To avoid being confusing, I'm going to follow along with what Aaron is saying. So, Aaron says it should be stat AA AWT. Cool. In here it should be stat AA LWT. And then this one should be just AA, I guess. Done. Okay. Actually, I'm just going to check. Going back to the original, what was this one? Oh yeah, it was stat AA. Yes. I see. So in here it should be stat AA. Okay. And then over here is where I should change it. So instead of being conf f blah blah, it should be just AA. Okay, I think I'm on a roll now. And that should be AA. Same for all of these things. Oops. AA and that and that and that. I think that should be it. Alright, let's just try deploy there. Yes. And it says disconnected. That's interesting. So it's not connecting to the Mitchell broker. What have I screwed up there? So I've got the host name in there. I don't have TLS. So port 18951 and auto-generated client ID. Security is test, and that should be test. And that's it. Deploy. Okay, now it's connected. That's better. Alright, so connected and we've changed all the topics. And now coming back to here, let's see what happens. So client ID, AA, topic prefix and topic suffix. Did I need that? Need TLS checked. Ah, okay. It says it's connected, but let's try that anyway. Use TLS. Update, done, and deploy. And now it can't connect. So, right, yeah, not for Node-RED side. Okay. Turn TLS back off. Done, deploy, and connected. All right, so on the Node-RED side, we're successfully connected. That's connected. And I think that, yeah, okay, I think that's it. All right, so now I'm going to go back to here, reload this, reload, go into settings, got that, got test, got that, client ID, enable SSL, and connect. And I don't have anything on here. All right, just refresh the UI. Yeah, nothing is coming up. Now, where was I? Where was I? Give it a second for Austin's LWT to trigger, and it should send the config. Oh, okay. Right, so that might be what it. That might be all it is. So we've got the last will and testament here going to stat AA LWT, and it is sending stuff to this. So there is no topic set in there because the topic is set in here. So we've got a delay to custom icon TP32 config. So this should be the config, should be going to conf AA. Keith says add debug node to the first MQTT node. Okay. To this one here so that we can see the last will and testament. Well, that one's already turned off. That one is turned on. Deploy. And while it's listening for the web UI to send an LWT message status to that flow, which triggers the flow. All right. So, in order for an LWT message to be sent, the client has to be disconnected, doesn't it? Because that's the whole point of it. It's, oh, there it goes. Haha. Screen 2. Home. Ooh. Cool. Home. Settings. Back. Screen 2. Home. Home. Cool. So, it is now loading. Let's have a look at screen 2. Because screen 2 I think was the only one that was defined. Home. Toggle. Office lights. It just turned my lights off. Cool. Which means, what does that mean? I was just wondering if other people could do this now. So this is connected to there, LED controller. Yeah. Okay. Yes, Chip says finally. Oh, Austin says not all the tile types have been imported into the UI, which is why screen 2 is empty. Yeah. Aaron says that did seem painful, but the process usually is a lot smoother. I'm sure it is a lot smoother when it's not me trying to do it and stuffing everything up, because I can't follow instructions. If there are more than 3 steps to something, yeah, I'm no good. In fact, funny thing is, day before, I was, so my son Tom had a packet of bubble tea, like it was Nestle homemade bubble tea, and I had a look at the instructions on the back. The instruction had 5 steps on it, and I looked at it and went, this seems way too complicated to make bubble tea. 5 steps. My brain can't count to 5. So yes, I'm sure. And Aaron pointed out, thanks Mitchell for the broker. Yes, Mitchell, thank you for setting up the broker so that I could see this working. I need to fix my own broker, get WebSockets running on that properly, and then I can do this locally. Yeah. And Mitchell says, we'll nuke the creds after the session anyway for safety. Good idea. Please do that. Yeah. Scott says, step 1, read these instructions. That adds a whole extra thing. And now I'm tired. Oh, I'm tired. But that is really, really cool to see. So this is the Touch UI running on, look at that wibble wobble on that button. I really like that. This is the Touch UI running on a browser. In fact, just for the fun of it, I'm going to see if I can load that on this tablet, which I haven't actually. I put it on charge last week or so. I haven't used this tablet for maybe a year or so. So just before I pull it up on the camera so you can see it, I'm going to try .1.185 colon, where's the colon? 9001, go. Briefly said page isn't working. What? And then turned off. I think the tablet actually just went flat, like the screen just went blank while I was using it. Hang on, no. It is alive. Use fingerprint or swipe screen to unlock. What happened to Chrome? Did Chrome just bomb out? 192.168. Oh no, it's port 8. What am I talking about? It's port 8081 is what I should be going to. Okay, so I've now got that coming up on the tablet. So I'm going to put in where I've got to put in all these details again. It is hairdresser. Wait, why is that on caps lock? Shouldn't be. Except that I can't just copy and paste this. cloudmqtt.com port, where are we? Port 38951. 38951. Username. No, I do not want to use that saved username. So often, it's just so painful doing this on a touch screen. Touch screens are good for some things, but they are horrible for others. Client ID, topic prefix, blah, enable SSL, yes, connect. Is it going to work? Stop complaining. All right. Switching to this. So is this loading anything? Or is it just being painful? The battery's just gone from 39% to 25% in the last minute. Checking 991 passwords. What? Come on. Yeah, this is a very old, very slow tablet, and it's trying to do it's doing things that I don't need it to do. Come on. What is this? Push week? Wake up. Come on. All I'm trying to do is load a web interface, and this, I don't know. I'm going to give up on that. Sometime I will try to load that UI on that touchscreen. Yeah. Oh, and Aaron says it can't have duplicated client IDs on a broker. Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, I did not use the same client ID. I think the client ID I used on, yeah, I used client ID AA in here. I didn't use that client ID. I just put in something different. So, yeah, it is effectively a different client. So I just wanted to see if it would connect, but it didn't. Right. I am going to bail because, as you have seen, my brain has not been functioning well today and I need to stop. I need to eat something. And yes, thank you so much for for struggling through this one with me today. Thank you in particular to Ben and Aaron and Mitchell and yes, and Chris for trying to get me through this. Creds nuke. Okay, Mitchell, go for it. Do it. Nuke those creds. And I am gonna go. I feel like I'm gonna pass out. Laughing at me. Mitchell, it was not a good one. It was a frustrating one, I'm sure, for everybody to be watching. And I hope you're having a fantastic Easter weekend. I know what I need. I need to eat Easter eggs. I'm experiencing a chocolate deficiency. That is 100% my problem. Guaranteed. That's where the problem lies. So I'm going to go. I'm going to see if I can find myself some chocolate Easter eggs and revive my brain. So thank you, everyone. And I will talk to you all really soon, hopefully with some kits to assemble live on stream. And that's it. That's all, folks.